I have a lot of trouble interpreting the Bible, so it deters me from reading, but I have a lot of anxiety about the end times, I suppose. And it deters me from reading Revelation, so I guess
Don't read Revelation.
I
No,
heard.
I'm telling you, you shouldn't. Why? Because Revelation, the author assumes you know your Old Testament like the back of your hand, and you'll see where Revelation is appealing to the Old Testament. And the author assumes that you also know the core doctrines of the Christian faith, so that when he mentions things, you'll be able to know from where he's getting it. For example, in Revelation 12, when it talks about a woman with the sun and moon under her feet and a crown of 12 stars, John is assuming you know he just quoted Genesis chapter 3, Genesis 37, and other texts. So if you don't know the Old Testament and you're not familiar with the New Testament books, Revelation is a nightmare, and it's going to confuse you, and it's going to scare you. Stay away from Revelation. Learn the basics of the faith. So study the gospel. Saturate yourself with the gospels. Get to know Jesus. Get to fall in love with Jesus. So that Jesus and you are inseparable. Learn about Christ, his love, his passion. Learn about his teaching. Then go back, study the Old Testament. Try to figure it out slowly, but for yourself. In other words, you're not studying the Bible to teach. You're studying the Bible to hear God speak to you and form you and transform you. And then wait years from now before you even think about going into Revelation. Don't go into it.
Yeah, I have zero desire to teach.
Good.
It's just I want my husband's always like, "Oh, the end times could be in our lifetime." My mother-in-law is
Maybe.
like, "The end times could be in your lifetime." And I'm sitting here like, I want my son to have kids and enjoy his life.
So
So
wait, if Jesus comes, you think your son will be better off having kids in a miserable world or being with Jesus forever and ever?
that is, I understand that. Yeah.
You have the wrong perspective of who Jesus is. He is the source of love. He is the source of peace. He's the source of joy. So, which would you rather have? Your child with Jesus on earth, perfect love, perfect fellowship, perfect joy, no more pain, no more misery, no suffering? Or your kid growing up, taking a chance, marrying the wrong woman who ends up taking him to the cleaners, destroying his marriage, destroying his kids?
Well, isn't there also the possibility that we could get like beheaded or shot for being Christians, like during that really
So,
bad era where the Antichrist takes over?
are you going to die whether they behead you or not?
Yes.
So you are afraid of dying, or are you afraid of the way you're going to die?
I don't think I'm afraid of death anymore. Now that I know that there's a place for us to go, I used to be
So
terrified of
then
that.
you answered your objection. So what are you worried about? But
I guess
listen to
that's
what
true.
you said to me about your son having kids. So if Jesus comes down now, your son will be deathless, pain-free, no more sin, no more misery, no more disease, perfect love, perfect joy, perfect peace, perfect relationships. But if the Lord delays, then your son grows up. Let's say he ends up with the wrong woman who takes him to the cleaners, destroys his family. Because you're only thinking, oh, my son is going to marry and he's going to have a family. But look around you. How many relationships do you know have lasted? How many people got hooked up with the wrong partner and end up homeless or in jail and destroy their children? What's the divorce rate now?
It's like 60 or 70%. It's pretty
So
bad.
what guarantee you have your son won't find the wrong one?
That is true.
You have too much attachment to the world because you're thinking, I want my son to have kids. Okay, so what if your son has kids from a Jezebel who then uses the court system to keep the kids away from him and leaves them homeless?
I'd be livid.
You would be livid, right? But you can't do nothing about it. So
Agreed.
you only think it's going to turn out good. Now look around you. How many of your relationships turn out good?
One.
Only one, right? What happened to the one?
Yeah.
Okay, so what guarantee do you have that you and that man are going to last?
I know for sure we will.
And pride comes before a fall, right?
Yep.
This is called wishful thinking. I hope you last. I'm not hoping evil on you,
No,
but
you're
this
right. I
is
get it. There's always a chance, but we've
so.
been
My
through so
point
much
is,
already.
you're too attached to the world and too focused on the world because it's good for you, relatively speaking. But I want you to go to India, or I want you to go to Pakistan, or I want you to go to Syria, or I want you to go to Nigeria and see what they're doing to Christians today, right now, as we speak, beheading them,
Yeah.
raping them, murdering them, imprisoning them. They're not so quite happy about life. But you live in relative ease because you're in America and you're relatively comfortable and you're like, oh, life is great. because you haven't seen what Christians go through in other parts of the world, such as India, where you have militant Hindus attacking Christians and attacking churches, Pakistan, where Christians get accused of blasphemy law and go to prison and be killed, Nigeria, where Christian pastors and priests are being slaughtered, beheaded, churches being burnt, or in Syria, because you have it easy and you think this is how the world is. You're living in delusion. What's going to happen to you when slowly America is going to strip you of the right to practice what you preach and to express your faith, so that if you say something contrary to the values of the government, such as homosexuality is an abomination, or try to stop your kid from having a gender change, and they throw you in jail, are you going to be strong in faith then?
I will be honest, I don't think my faith has ever been like, I was just talking to him about this. I don't think my faith has been tested to the point of I've had to endure like countless deaths in 1 year, for example, or like absolute terrible events.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that I think I am living in delusion as to like being too attached to the earth because I'm scared to face the
Because you're attached
reality.
to the world. You know when
Yeah.
you're going to be free?
I'm scared of the other side though, I think.
Well, why? If you know Jesus is Lord and he loves you, why fear him? What is he going to do to you?
He is terrifying. And I
Jesus,
guess
then you don't know
there's-
Jesus, do you? If you're terrified of Jesus, okay, I don't know. The
Yeah.
Jesus that came to the world was to give you absolute assurance that he has your best interest and he loves you more than you can know. And if you trust him, he will give you everlasting life and everlasting pleasures. The fact that you're afraid means you have not experienced the love of God. So that tells me there's something deeper going around. And I'm not trying to be a psychologist, but usually people like you and me, if we have issues later in life, it's because these are issues that stem from our childhood and how we were raised. Because let me show you some what the Bible says. You have not experienced the love of God, because it says, the love of God, there is no fear in the love of God. Here it is. 1 John 4:18-19. Here you go. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. We love because he first loved us. So you have not experienced the love of God. You don't know his love. The fact you're still afraid of him.
I think I'm afraid of like like I don't know 100% what the other side, like what heaven looks like, or
The other side is Jesus. Do you know Jesus? Then you won't be afraid to be with Jesus. Because
true. I know I shouldn't be.
Where Jesus is, there is heaven. Jesus is heaven. So Jesus is heaven. No Jesus, there's no heaven. So even if I go to a place called heaven, if Jesus isn't there, that's hell for the believer. Why? Because love is a person. It's not a place. I don't love heaven. I love him. And he is my heaven. So I'll give you an example. Imagine you're told you can live in a perfect island, all your needs met, no pain, no suffering, but you won't see your son. Then what? Would you go? You won't see your son again. Would you do that?
Okay, so I get what you're saying. My human self is saying no. My spirit is saying, of course. Like that's a stupid question. Of course.
You don't know love, and you don't really love your son. So you have more deeper issues than I thought. You have very deep issues. Your issues stem from your upbringing, and you need healing. For a mother to think about, yeah, I'll go to a perfect place but never see my son, then you don't know what love is. And
well,
you don't.
I thought you were talking about in reference to heaven.
I'm talking about earth. That they say, here, we're going to
heaven.
take you here to an island. Heaven's not an island. You'll be in perfect peace, perfect joy, have all your needs met, but you'll never see your son.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. I want to see my son, but I thought you were referring to like the
No, I told you,
you
island
don't see
on
your
earth.
kids in heaven or something.
No, don't see your kid on island. I'm going to give you this island. You can live the way you want. You can have all the pleasures, but you're never going to see your son. Who cares about your son? It's about pleasures.
Okay, yeah, no. I would rather be with my son.
Hopefully not. I don't know. I'm starting to worry. I'm worried. I pray God heal you, honestly. I pray God heals you.
No, I have social anxiety, so me being on camera in front of a whole bunch of people makes me
No,
really
that's all right.
nervous.
I'm not trying to bully you, make you feel bad. But I'm just saying you have issues that are deeper that need to be cleansed and healed by Christ. But since you don't know Christ, you haven't experienced his love, you're even afraid of him. As you're saying, I'm afraid of the other side. The point of the analogy is, you can give me a perfect world where I live forever and no pain. But if Jesus is not there, that's hell. Those who come to know Jesus and fall in love with Jesus, Jesus is our heaven. So where Jesus is, that's where our heart is. And if Jesus is not there, we don't want to be there. I don't want to be in a place without Jesus. I want to be with Jesus. Why? Because when you know someone absolutely loves you and adores you and has proven his love for you, that he died for you, how can you not want to be with this person, to hug him and kiss him and embrace him and be embraced by him? That's heaven for a believer. You're too fixated on, I don't know what's going to happen on the other side. I don't know what's in heaven, because you don't know him. You know of him, but you don't know him.
That is true.
So you got to come to know him.
And how do I do that?
It's a relationship. How do you get to know your husband? By ignoring him?
No, but I think I actually read or saw one of your videos. It was through prayer, reading.
Yeah, well, here, I'm saying, now here, how do you get to know your husband? The guy you're with?
Dates and talking to him.
Spending time in his presence, right?
Yes.
Spend time with Jesus. How do you spend time with Jesus? Talk to him from your heart. Let him speak to you. Well, when does he speak to you? When you read the Bible, he's speaking to you. That's why I said, learn the Bible, read it devotionally, start with the Gospels. It's a relationship. It's marriage. The Bible talks about Christ as your husband. And the more you spend time with your husband, the more you get to know him, and the more you see how beautiful he is, the more irresistible he becomes. You don't know him, because if you know him, you can't live without him. You can't. I can't imagine a world without Jesus. Not because I'm a perfect servant, far from it. I'm a filthy, wicked hypocrite, a dog that failed him, but he has not failed me. And I have experienced his love, and he's gone out of his way time and time again to be there in my darkest moments. So even though I fail, I don't want to fail him. But one thing I can tell you, I can't live without him. And if there's a world when there's no Jesus, that's not a world worth living in. Jesus is the believer's heart. Jesus is the believer's heaven. No Jesus, that's hell. But you don't know that because you don't know him. Get to know him. Go spend time with him, speak to him, hear his words, learn about his character. That's why Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are written, to show you the kind of person he is, how he interacted with those who are broken, those who are oppressed, those who are abused, those who are neglected. He did nothing but love them. But the arrogant, the self-righteous, those who thought they were smarter or better than they were, he was very cruel and harsh with them, because he had no time for arrogant snobs. God hates pride. What God loves is a broken heart that acknowledges their brokenness in need of him. He will come to your aid. He'll rush to embrace you and kiss you and hug you and spoil you in his love. That's Jesus.
Do you think to truly, you know how most people say they come to know Jesus when they have a mental breakdown, they're on their knees crying out to the Lord? Is that a requirement?
No. You don't. Why, you want to have a mental breakdown in order for Jesus?
I don't want to have a mental breakdown, but a lot of people are like, this is...
That's because people whom God tried to get their attention kept ignoring him until they hit rock bottom. Then they realized how pitiful they are without Jesus. You don't need to hit rock bottom to know you need Jesus. You don't need to hit rock bottom to know you need Jesus. So Jesus loves the brokenhearted, the oppressed, and he came to heal them. But you don't need to hit rock bottom to know you need Jesus. So don't wait till you hit rock bottom. Acknowledge your need for him now and get to know him. Get to know him. Let me show you some verses.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
That's about his life and his teachings. Hear his words. And if his words don't melt you and make you cry like a baby in his arms, I don't know what will. Because he's altogether lovely and he's irresistible. All right, now let me show you this. All right, here.
What's the best version for someone who has trouble interpreting?
Read NIV. New International. It's very simple, very basic. It's not going to confuse you.
Okay.
In fact, I'm reading NIV right now. Let me show you some of his promises. How can you not read these words and not fall in love with him? Here, look what he says. Isaiah 57:15. For this is what the high and exalted one says. He who lives forever, whose name is holy. I live in a high and holy place, but also with the one who's contrite, meaning the one who is humble, not arrogant, full of himself, lowly in spirit. That's who I live with. Why? To come and revive your spirit, the spirit of the lowly, the broken, the oppressed, the abused, provide the heart of the contrite. Psalm 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. See who he chases after? The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. And then Psalm 51:17. My sacrifice, O God, is a broken spirit. A broken and contrite heart, you, God, will not despise. He hates pride, but he loves the broken and those who acknowledge their need of him and brokenness. He comes rushing to your aid. That's why he says in Matthew 11:28-30. See, God hates pride. He really does. Matthew 11:28-30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Come to me if you're tired, if you're burdened. I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your soul. See, the Jesus that you know is not this Jesus who says, don't be afraid of me. I'm gentle. I'm humble in heart. The fact that you're afraid tells me you don't know him. Because to know him is to run to him and love him because he's gentle. He'll never embarrass you. Unlike humans, unlike me, because I'm scum, he will never embarrass you. He'll never disgrace you. He'll never shame you. That's his word. He will never put you to shame. That's his promise. Never put you to shame. That's not the kind of God he is. When you don't know him, you won't know this. So he says, come to me. Why are you afraid? I'm gentle. I'm not going to harm you. I'm not going to disgrace you. I'm not going to humiliate you. I'm not going to shame you. I'm gentle. I'm humble at heart, and I care for you more than you know. You will find rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. See, this is why I say, get to know him. When you know him, you can't help but fall in love with him, and he makes even grown men cry like babies. Here's another one. John 14:18-19. I will not leave you as orphans. See, this is the Jesus you still don't know. To know this Jesus, you cannot but love and adore him and run to him with tears. I will not leave you as orphans. I will come to you. Before long, the world will not see me anymore, but you will see me. Because I live, you also will live. See, this is the Jesus I know. So this is Jesus. Once you know him, you can't help but fall in love with him. You still don't know him yet. You don't know his heart. Now I want to help you with this analogy with the yoke. The yoke. Come to me, all you are weary and burdened, and I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Sorry. I told you, it makes grown men cry. Let me show you what this analogy is all about. So you appreciate this. He says, take my yoke. I'm going to give you a picture. 1 second. Let me get the picture for you. This is the Jesus. Once you get to know him, you cannot stop loving him. Jesus, yoke. Okay, right here. Let me get you the imagery. This is what the imagery is. A yoke is what you put on cattle. When you take two beasts, you put a yoke on them to make them work together in unison. Right here. This is a yoke. So what Jesus is saying is, come under my yoke, right? Do you see this right here?
Yes.
Okay. So what he's saying is, be my yoke partner. Put my yoke on you. We'll carry it together.
Oh, wow.
So what he's saying is, because if you know what a yoke is here, if you put cattle and a yoke, this is what they put on cattle to work together. So here's an image. See the image here?
Mm-hmm.
Why did they do that? To make the cattle work together in unison in plowing the field, right? This is what it is, so that they can both work together, carry the burden together. Now, what if you have a cattle that's weaker than the other? That means the other one will have to compensate, right? So if this cattle is weaker than this one will have to compensate for the weaker cattle, so it'll do more of the work, right?
Yep.
So what is Jesus saying? Be my yoke partner, because when you are weak, I will be your strength and I will help you carry it. You'll never carry it alone. That's the image. You understand what he's saying?
Yeah.
So his point is, if you become my yoke partner, I can promise and assure you, you will never, ever carry your yoke alone. And when you're too weak to carry it, I will be your strength and I will carry it for you and with you. But you'll never carry it alone. That's what he means. This is the Jesus that I worship. This is the Jesus who's real. So this is the imagery, and this is what he's saying. So come. Don't worry about how weak you are. You won't carry it alone, and I will be your strength, and I will lift you up and your yoke as long as you yoke yourself to me and let go. That's the imagery. You got to get to know this Jesus. You still don't know him yet. Once you do, you're going to see he's irresistible. Anyway, so that's it. I hope that helped you. Right? That's it. So go read the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Get to know Christ. Get to know his heart. All right?
Okay.